You again. Sunday morning, Father's Day 2020. Happy Father's Day, everybody. And yeah, I know, not everybody's a father. But a lot of people who were never fathers really should be. I'll show you some busted up, like right there. I think I showed part of that. I got to looking. The cab kit is actually wedged in between this bar and the cab frame. I don't know how many screws there were in it. A bunch of them. They come up through those welded nuts. I got all those out, and now it looks like basically all this has to lift up to get the kit out. So that ain't gonna happen right now. It'll happen in a little while, sometime. I don't know when. Because I'm gonna get some hay cut after I have a quick little meeting with number one and discuss what's going on for part of the day anyway. And yeah, you know, haven't heard anything about dashboards yet. Hopefully tomorrow. 2 panels off the top. The bottom side of the floor mat actually cleaned up. I think good enough. It's in the shop, still drying. And the seats in there, they both got done with little Bissell cleaner. And I'm going to get ready to go cut some hay here in a few minutes. Go bounce around. Oh, yeah. May as well get some calf shots. There's a few in here. Little ones. Little one and a big one.
That little shit ass was in the feeder this morning.
Oh, the little one was in the feeder.
And she wouldn't get out of the feeder either while I was feeding.
And she's bagging up pretty good again. She bagged up a couple of times. They do that once in a while. And she's over here going, "Hey, are you my baby?" Well, no, your baby's still inside you, honey. So, must mean she's getting a little closer. So, with that, I'll get you some more later. More cow video. Yeah, bulls and steers, cows and calves. They're not real happy at the moment. Well, they're not unhappy, they're just not real happy. That group, yeah, they're still finding grass where they can. We had these up here on this little hillside for a couple of days. And yeah, I know, we still got to fix this fence. And that one there, she got it back together enough to hopefully hold them in there. But we had to do this after the water and everything else. Kind of messed things up. Temporary we put across up there. I want to make it permanent so we can split this up more, because we can run them up that lane to get them into the hayfield at a later date. I wouldn't mind having this split a little better. And the big hayfield up here on the flat, 2 years ago we took the center fence out. It was 2 10-acre fields, and we never got it back in, just the way things have worked. It needs to go back in, but you know, this winter wasn't fit to be making fence. The days that were nice enough to not soak your ass, the wind was blowing so hard it wasn't funny. And the other days, you know, you just got soaked. So that didn't get done. She's going to get that temporary out of my way. There is no good way up here. We used to actually cut this whole thing, but there's a spring in that low spot right there in the middle of the screen. Used to get through it, sometimes we wouldn't. And water comes out of the middle of that part of the field over there, comes through here. I don't know what happened. It never used to wash out. Now it tries washing through here. We've done all kinds of stuff to alleviate that problem. It's still there. And this ain't the prettiest stuff. As far as the grasses go, it's good, but didn't get sprayed, so it's got some weeds. But most of what's here for weeds is radish and maybe a little mustard. That all makes good feed, so I'm not worried about that. As long as I don't find any frickin' tansy. That's been a big issue the last couple of years with nobody taking care of the stuff. And I got to think about my levers over here. The tall one's usually my up and down, and the yellow one's usually the fold, but one of the, on the couplers back there, it just keeps loading up and locking up. I'm not sure what's going on. One side works, the other side don't, so I got to remember, and it's backwards. I got to pull that back to drop the mower. Usually it would be forward to drop it. I tried hooking up to the blue set, and one of them I couldn't get to hook up, so it is what it is. Probably can't get parts for the damn thing anyway. Be like the 3394. Had to change a valve in that last year, and that was $850 for a used one, and we got one of the few used ones left in the world. So anyway, I'm going to let you go so I can get started, and I'll bring you back for a little more. That's a 5-strand fence right there. You can kind of tell where the fence keeps the wind from blowing everything over. We usually keep that sprayed out. Last couple of years being short on grass, it's like, oh, but then it causes issues with the hot wire. And, you know, just kind of messes things up. And usually getting it sprayed out, there's a marker right there. Little white tin on that wire says there's a hydrant on the other side. And we usually spray out around the hydrants. But, you know, I haven't been getting out here to do that. And Mom's been getting out to do some, but she doesn't get that. Just more of that yay. You can see that hydrant easy. Still got the pipe on it, or the riser. Almost waited too long. I forgot that chunk of fence was still there. I started out with the cutter tip down, and I don't know if we can see it in this window up here or not. It was pretty nasty. Of course, you know, start out right into the frickin' dirt. Right there. Everybody's got rodents, so do we. Figured it out when I got up here, and you can see the difference. Looks better. And, I can't remember whose channel it was. I just watched this video the other day. He's got a really nice chrome mower. Pulls it with a Massey tractor. He knows who he is. He'll see this. This got a little cheater arrow. I gave him bad time about running his crop over. I'm doing it. Part of it is I whiten it out some. I want to try to keep it fluff, but I don't want it too wide or the ground won't dry underneath. And with the hydraulics, I can pull that in, but not while I'm filming. I don't have the hand to do it. So his is doesn't have the hydraulics. It's set to lock in the wrong spot for him. But I'm gonna pull that in just a minute. This stuff was standing up, it would be as high as the main frame on the mower. Just to give you some perspective, but between the winds and the rain we keep getting, when we've been getting rain, it's been a lot. And the wind has been unusually more in the last couple of years. So, but it's cut and clean from what I can see. I'm good with that. And I usually cheat the corners, but I don't do it until I'm in a couple rounds, so you got room to cut them out. And what I can tell, she is cut and clean all the way around. Too many freaking gopher and molehills, though. Well, I'll bring you back again. Told you I'd bring you back. Number 2 texting me, wanted to talk to me. She hadn't told me Happy Father's Day yet. And apologized for a couple of things, which was nice. been busy with a lot of stuff, a lot of things on our mind lately, so I was going to show you back there. I was just sinking in, kind of shiver the mower around there. For as dry as it's been and as much rain as we've had all at the same time, it's pretty soft up here. That's actually sinking in about 1.5 inches. Those tires have been wet the whole time. Then there's some pretty nasty looking spots. And I should have thought about this a minute or two ago. Usually I would suck the mower in, miss the tree, but kind of hard to do that with the phone in my hand. Imagine that. See some black spots on the ground here. Of course they go for holes, but oh, dang it. The black spots, I couldn't get that one in the window. I know they're out here. I've already seen a bunch of them. That's where it's down and it's wet and it's slimy. It's really, really nasty stuff. Excuse me again. And actually that slimy crap, it really dries fast once you get the sun on it. But half of that's in the bottom of the windrow right now. So it's just going to sit there and stay slime until it gets scattered. But I want a day of sun on the ground, at least get the strips between them done. And I'm thinking instead of running the scatter rake through this, we might just run the tedder rake through it first. Because we can move it over, fluff it up and move it over. Get it on the drier spot so we're ground dried off. The sad thing is this is going to be an all week, not a few days. Part of that reason is it's wet. The other part is that thing has rubber rolls. And 8 years ago we went from a self-propelled New Holland, an old 1469, and went to a pull type. Of course, they said, oh yeah, you only need 70 horse to run them. Yeah, BS. We ran it on a 160 horse tractor, 160 PTO horse. And we'd plug her up and shut the tractor down, or we'd tear the belt off of them. Just because the stuff like this, if I was leaning into it, we'd get caught up in the conditioner first and plug it up, and when the conditioner stops turning, you break the belt, then you got nothing. What you kind of see in the background there, I don't know if that's the house that the issues were in the other day, or there's another one like 50 feet on the other side of it. Pretty sure it was one of those two, though. That's where the cops were at. One of the neighbors said it was one that's over here, you can't see from here. But that's not where the cops were. So, anywho, you know what I'm doing? I probably got more than enough video for the day. Number 2 is going to do a little weed killing around. I don't know if number 1 is going to do much to help her there or not, but they got a few other things to get done while I'm doing this. Clean the horses up, that kind of thing. And get a couple things moved for their mother. And I'm hoping that the girls are just going to take those 2 cows in today and I don't have to go. They're fully capable. Each one of them's done it before. Gone in with grandma and done it before. So, anyway, There's some more of you don't get to see too often because I can't see that from over there. See that big mansion looking thing up there? That was actually supposed to be a shop. Contractor had that place. Built him a new shop and then built a big apartment over the top and got in trouble with the county, you know. And when they were building that shop, oh my God, it was funny. The wind was blowing. It was one of those days. We were working in the shop, making a lot of noise, and we heard this big bang. We thought somebody was blasting some rock or something, or well, you know, who the hell is blasting rock? It was one of their walls they had stood up. It came down and hit the floor. We actually felt the freaking ground shake. That's crazy. So, anyway, just more stories. So, if I end her here, please like and subscribe. And happy Father's Day to everybody. There's biological fathers and there's real fathers. There can be a difference. Oh, and by the way, I'm not going very fast because it's rough and I hurt. And the way it's down, I'm trying to keep her cut and clean, which it's doing a really good job. I'm only doing about 5.5 miles an hour. Usually we're 8 to 10 miles an hour. It's not a problem to do 8 to 10 acres an hour with this machine. I think the last John Deere we had, actually, I think we covered more ground a little quicker. But say that was with the impeller conditioner, and they work a hell of a lot better. I'm still kicking myself in the butt for letting Dad buy this one. We could have looked around and found a used machine at the time that would have worked. But it is what it is. This is what we got. The other thing this one does that the other one didn't. There's a little spot. I don't know if you can see it. It like quadruple cuts a little bit right at the far edge. It'll leave it laying along the edge of the standing stuff. We never had that problem with the green one. So I don't know why it's an issue with this one. Oh yeah, limbs in the way too. I don't worry about that as much with this tractor. But the big baler doesn't fit underneath those. And we run the double rakes, that tractor doesn't fit under it very well. And both of those tractors got mirrors that stick out. This one, that's the farthest one out. That one barely sticks out, so it's nowhere near the issue. Yeah, I know. I'm knocking it down out here, but when I come back on it, I'm cutting into it, so it'll cut it pretty clean. And if I don't do it this way, it's more of a hassle. And some of this against these trees, the last tree I had to go around behind me in the corner. That one, this stuff's dry enough to bale. It looks like straw. Trees are taking more moisture than normal because, say, we've had a lot of rain. Well, I shouldn't say that. It's rained a lot, but we haven't had a lot of rain. This last rain, we only got a 1/4 inch. Rained for 2 days. But the only thing in the gauge was a 1/4 inch. One before that, it rained for 5 or 6 days, and we got 3/4 of an inch. Just enough to keep it icky. Okay, that's enough. Thanks for watching, everybody.